from across worlds stand and unite. No other foe or force can match their might. The once great people of this world now hide in fear. All chaos shaken by the power of sword and spear. The black-clad armies of the Dark One now draw near. But in the distance, the sergeant and the bear appear. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Legions of Rome stand and let their arrows fly. The roaring of dragons and machines fills the sky. Secret agents and the generals they defy. Swarms of orcs and samurai raise their banners high. In the wake of death, only one man stands alone. The sergeant raises his sword, high silver shone. He condemns the chaos worn on his soul. He stands longing for the day he may return home. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Until the war for the world springs is won, they will fight until they're on none. Valkyrie will stand alone as one, and the bloodshed is finally done. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation, 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 to end the age of annihilation.
Welcome to TOV Live, and I can just feel it in my voice. It is Valhalla time, and it is time once again. It's that time of the year where I do this a little sick. Anyway, hey, happy Wednesday to everybody. I hope everybody out there is doing well. I am Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, and like I said this past Sunday, in a much clearer voice, was that I was going to attempt to read through just these few pages that Renegade previewed on their website when they showed where is it? I'm sorry. My brain is like kind of only half working right now. The lore book, the TOME of Annihilation, and Warpig. Hi. Justin is there as well, and Premium Escape is first in the chat as well tonight. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, so we're just going to read through this, probably reading through things which all you all probably know, but I don't. So at least not most of it. I kind of browse through the pages. I didn't look at all of them, so I guess we'll intricately take a look at whatever I can look at in the next, let's say, hour or so, type of thing that I'm able to talk. No, and I'll just say it. And before we do that as well, do have that contest I got to spin for. So, and anybody didn't get entered in that contest, don't worry. There's going to be hopefully a much better structured contest when we do the premiere for season 3. So, Justin, I have no idea because I don't think they're allowed. Because Justin's asking, do we know how many entries in the book are Jeremy's? I really have no idea because it's not released yet, so he can't really say anything about it. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. But let me do let me take this spinny spin for the season 2 contest, and then we'll read the thing. So. Hello, Dan Antonio. How are you doing tonight? Okay. Lively chat. Probably wants to look up that way. I just want to see if this makes sense. Because I did this earlier, and then... How many we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... and a blank space. I don't know why there's a blank space there. No idea. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, whatever. If the blank space gets on, then well, you know. All right, Dan. All right, just okay. Let me spin this thing. And then I'll contact who I need to contact later for this. Which it looks like it's the sparkle in your water, which I love that name. The sparkle in your water. Congratulations, and we'll connect to you sometime in the future for the season 2 thing. Yeah, congratulations. All right, let's move on. All right, yeah, no, I just want to say that this earlier this week, my son, actually just last night, my son has been under the weather, let's put it that way. He had a little bit of fever and stuff, and it's just the thing that's been like this illness thing that's been going on for the past like week and a half in our house, and then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, it was a gradual thing. Now it's affecting my throat. It's really affecting my throat. But not so much to cancel tonight. Now, this Sunday I might consider canceling. We'll see how I feel come Sunday. I might need to rest. And definitely next Wednesday I will not be around. And probably that following Sunday as well. So that might be a good week and a half that I am not going to be around. Just break or whatever, recovery from... Hopefully nothing that I have gets too serious. So okay, so I just basically thinking to myself when it comes to like the rumbling in my throat, as long as I don't talk a lot during the stream, I'll be fine. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, you know, it's like I mean, got Crohn's disease, so immune system isn't wonderful anyway. For folk like me, and I have a cat that's chewing right outside. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic, but it's definitely there, eating his food. But that's okay. Anyway, what I will do then is get going with reading just these couple of pages that they showed, and I noticed that when we were looking at this, so here, hold on. Doesn't he sound cute? Okay. Now let's do a formal introduction for this because I may edit this out later. Okay, so preview pages. The Tome of Annihilation, the lore book that we all wanted, or at least I did. I said, you know, Renegade, make a lore book. Well, and they're like, here, $45. Thank you. So let us get into looking at these, and I do want to mention one thing. It's funny how like these pages that we're going to read through are not exactly in order. Like it ends at page 51, but it just goes all over the place when it comes to downloading these things. But it is like a total of like I think like over 200 pages. That's a pretty thick book. So it seems like they're taking their time with it. And yeah, very impressive. So let's just read through the table of contents first. And I'm sorry, I apologize. If I have these brain farts or like long pauses during this, forgive me. It is like the nasally thing happening. And of course, I've got nothing for my schnozzle at the moment when it comes to something to blow my nose in. Yeah, this is already like becoming a huge train wreck. But anyway, all right. Table of contents. Let's see here. I think it looks interesting. So it looks like there's like a few pages each on up to 50 pages just on the Battle of All Time, map of Valhalla. We're just being the same map like we see there. Oh, just wondering. Thormund's discovery. So okay, it's actually. I wonder if we're going to see some of like Thormund's journal entries in this book. That would be kind of cool. Rise of Valkyrie. Then you got Jandar himself, Ular, Einar, Vidar, Utgar, Aquila, Revna, Valarak, the Crimson Fleet. Earth, Phalon, Mark. Right. Okay, we're going to look at some planets as well. Alpha Prime, Icaria, Nextoma, Arboreus, Valhalla, and Valhalla timeline. Okay. Now, what do I think about this? Well, I'll say this. We're missing one Valkyrie general. The he who must not be named. Now, of course, I know for legal reasons I can't cover, but there is one missing. So what we need to do is we need to make a page, like a page or two of the just ourselves. We'll make a custom page for this lore book, and we'll just leaf it in, maybe in between Vidar and Utgar. I don't know, and just have it. There you go. And just get all the information we know about that Valkyrie general. I don't think it's not too much, actually. We we still don't know, but we'll just put it in there. We'll have Jeremy, just make a custom page, and we'll just slide it in there. It can be a bookmark. That can be a bookmark page, which will let you know everything about the Valkyrie general, who we can't talk about. I mean, we can. It's Valkyrie, but just joking. All right, so character biographies. So this is basically all the characters. I'm not going to read through all these, but all the characters so far in Renegade. And I mean, this is a tiny complaint. It's like not even just a quick, swift mention of just all the classic units in the past. Just even if it's just a tiny list of them. Maybe it'll have it, but I mean that's would just be like a tiny list of what at least the classic stuff that you had in the past. I mean, VC would be a stretch. Yeah, that would be great. That would be appreciated, but it would be cool. It's just like, okay, this is what's in the past, and then these are the characters that Renegade has released. I'm just saying, but at least they're all there. They're accounted for in this lore book for all Renegade stuff, which is a lot of stuff. I mean, just look at this. It's like what? It's like 40 some, like units. Can't do math. Warpig's asking me, everywhere the name is written, you can have it blacked out, and the C's redacted. Yeah. Oh, you mean Valkyrie's name? That would actually be kind of cool. Like you could put redacted for Valkyrie just to write them in the lore. I would. Now, if they do that, who knows? I don't think so. But that would be hilarious if they go like, okay, the first Valkyrie generals of the first wave of Heroscape, and they name them all, and then in Valkyro's place is just like a little bit of black marker, and then you have redacted on the top of it. That would be hilarious. So just the comic in me is just thinking, all right, and let's see here, and then we got Sarah. So okay, this whole thing. We've got part 1, 50 pages of just certain information about locations and generals and a little bit of history and stuff. And then another 40 odd pages of just biographies of the characters, which is fine. There's probably going to be everything that's written up on them already on the Renegade website, which is okay. You have in written form. And Justin says this is the Age of Annihilation lore book. If it sells, well, then there's a possibility for a classic lore book with Thorm is drawn classic bios. There's always that possibility, yeah. Well, I mean, if my purchase tips the scale, my eventual purchase tips the scale, then I'm all for it. So we got scenarios. Now this will be an interesting thing, because some of these scenarios we have not covered yet. Matter of fact, where are we at? Let's see here. You start with that, or I'm trying to see, because first bit Frostbitten Ford, which is the one that I did my I based my short film on earlier this year. It was a Frostbitten Ford, but it got Fields of Rust. That was a special one because you had those rust walkers. That was so cool. The Maze, okay, and then Minstrel's Coliseum. Okay, so I think we're at map the Abysmal Path, I think. So I think anything after that, what was the, I'm sorry, what was the last scenario that we did? Looking back live stream, that was From the Deep. Yes, I think that was Nostraland Coast, I think. Or was it? Or no, no, the Abyssal Path. Yeah, the Abyssal Path. Yeah. Yeah, Justin says, I'm very excited for the lore book, but also 2/3 of what is in it is available on the website. Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of this is just bits and pieces of it's just scattered online, and they're just bringing it together in one lore book, which is, I mean, it's fine. At least you have it all in one book, so you don't have to search everywhere for it. Just, it just depends on what extra stuff they have in here. But let's just say, okay, so the Abysmal Path, that's kind of what we did. So I guess the next scenario probably for December is the last comfrey plant at Durgeth Depths. So this might be a plant that helps heal the Valkyrie generals, maybe. Map Nostraland Coast, and then Midnight Raid would probably be another scenario. Birth of a Covenant sounds like another scenario. Dead or Alive sounds like another scenario. Tides of War, interesting. That's probably, Tides of War is probably the scenario for Thorman, which would be the last, the Thorman scenario is probably the last scenario that they'll release for this particular timeline. And then it's going to be, what is it, Sentinel, whatever the Sentinel timeline is. What's the title? I'm sorry, I forgot it again. Brain fart. But Sentinel something. Guard of the Sentinel, I think. And then you have Appendix. Now the appendices. Now I'm a huge Lord of the Rings guy. Like I'm very much in Lord of the Rings that I read the Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit sometimes as well, but Lord of the Rings. They'll have referring to Utgard. Who knows? I read Lord of the Rings like every other year, or every other year and a half, basically. And I'm currently going through it right now, just bits and pieces when I have time to read. I might read a page or two, and then that's it. And I'm falling asleep. Secrets of the Citadel. Thank you, Justin. So not only have I read through Lord of the Rings, I also love reading through the appendices. Even though they can be a slog, it's still fun to get that information and learn all the names of the hobbits' cousins and second cousins twice removed and all that stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what the glossary of terms index, but hopefully there's some fun stuff in there. Anyway, just looking at table of contents. Let's move on to this one. So this be page 49. Page 48, page 49. Okay, so this is actually a split. Okay, here, hold on a second. So this would be Valhalla in the table of contents. Okay, there it is, Valhalla, a world between worlds. Interesting. So they're trying to make Valhalla now just the central. I mean, it kind of still is the central hub of everything, but excuse me. Now this is interesting. They put the Valhalla map like this on a globe. So it just looks round, but I mean, this obviously is Valkyrie Wasteland, Takala jungles there. So we're seeing that side of everything. Yep. Let me just. Yeah. I mean, we can't see this whole map because it's kind of zoomed in, but yeah, that is Valhalla. So, but this is only one side of the globe that we're looking at. There's other sides. I doubt that like the other side of the globe, it's just water. It could be, but I doubt it. All right, let's read through some of this. Okay, zooming in. Valhalla is a planet full of mysteries. Its magical waters, which grant healing powers and visions of distant worlds, stem from somewhere deep underground. It is home to 15 wellspring summoning chambers built by a forgotten civilization. Interesting. I mean, there are chambers, but wellspring summoning chambers. So when were the wellsprings discovered then? Because it was discovered by Thorman. And that wasn't in a chamber. That was just in a water, like somewhere. So that is an interesting take. I mean, look, if you want to rewrite the lore a little bit, that's fine. If like maybe the wellsprings were discovered long before, and then it was just forgotten or just silenced, but then other wellsprings started springing up, and that's where Thorman got, it. Wait, let's just read more. Which can be used to open portals to distant worlds, and if the anachronistic artifacts that have been passed down through generations of Kiri are any indication, perhaps these portals were used in a long bygone age as well. Many of Valhalla's species and peoples, such as its trolls, its giants, tribes, like the scaled Durgath or furry jungle-dwelling Quasach, have been driven almost to extinction by generations of war between the Arch-Kiri and now between the Valkyrie, as the search for more wellsprings to control has left Valhalla in ruins. Well, of course. What do we know about Secrets of the Citadel? I don't think we know much about anything. Just the title. I think it's a mystery unless something is shown in this lore book. And yet vast swaths of Valhalla are still unexplored. There you go, including savannas that wait beyond the southern jungles of Takala. Okay, here's the hint. Broad oceans and depth in the realm of subterranean caverns beneath Valhalla's surface known as Murkheim. Okay, so that kind of tells us what direction Renegade is going. We're really going to do a more vast exploration of the planet. Well, at the same time, a lot of this continent, yes, it's been talked about, but there's still a lot of this continent, especially Hawkline, but But even the main continent that we've seen for like, what, 20 years now, still a lot of it can be explained and still explored and rehashed and redone, just saying. Crossroads of the universe. As the war between the Valkyrie has caused the summoning of hundreds of thousands of people from worlds across the galaxy to fight in Valhalla, it has forever changed Valhalla's culture. Where once vast mountain fortresses and lush villages were farmed by simple Kyrie tribes, Valhalla's landscape is now blasted with mortar shells and plasma beams. Strange flora and fauna accidentally introduced to Valhalla have begun to spread. You might see, now they are establishing, it's coming in 2026 and focused on historical units. Secrets of the Citadel, if Secrets of the Citadel is just a huge line of like historical units, I'm okay with that. But when it comes to this, it seems to me like, and I'm interrupting myself, which is fine, like they're establishing what their roots are going to be as they continue forward, which, okay, it's fine. You gotta take a stand somewhere, whether people agree with it or not. Armor knights and soldiers from Earth's Second World War share meals together around the fire, and Kyrie have been introduced to concepts like coffee and sake. Fields of rice from Earth and thornbrun fruits from Mar fill Valhalla's farmlands. Abori and Dryan lend their powers of growth for raising crops to feed armies. Although many off-worlders dream of returning home, even if they do, Valhalla's landscape and culture will have been forever changed by their stay on Valhalla during the war. Okay, Warpig. Stuff this. Yeah, that's okay, Warpig. I'm not encouraging anybody to talk. I'm just reading and speculating what's on here, so no worries. Okay, well, we get the Valhallan calendar here. That's kind of cool. And nice artwork here. I don't know if this is artwork that's been done in the past, but it's kind of nice. Now, this looks like a Shiori character. Yeah, that's Shiori right there. Okay, and that is Leviatak, and that is Raylan. Now, it's interesting to see these height differences. Human, female Kyrie, shows them as a bit taller than, like, the scale is a little bit different than on the a little bit different, like a little bit taller than on the miniatures. The Kyrie, the average Kyrie stands around 7 feet tall, head and shoulders over most humans. They vary dramatically as a species, with skin tones ranging from pale to brown colors, reds, blues, and even purples. Likewise, their wings span a wide range of styles, from the flesh and bone-ribbed wings of the Kyrian mountain clans to the swift and white feathers of Nostroland's clans to the formidable black plumage of the Moon tribe Kyrie. Well, at least that establishes, their race, or their race, and also just unique, different. Imagine Nikak on a coffee high. I don't think we want to see Nikak on a coffee high. Although, okay, Warpig. Now, we need to someday have a glyph. Since they've established this, we need to have a glyph that's a coffee mug glyph. Coffee mug glyph, coffee beans glyph. You put them both together, and it turns into an espresso glyph, and it just gives the character a burst of energy, for some type of boost. I'm just saying. I said it here, and if I know Skateboard is awful busy with his own videos, but someone wants to come up with like a custom glyph, which is a coffee glyph. I don't know. I'm probably rehashing already abilities that you have. But anyway, so that's interesting that you have a description of the Kyrie, and so this just cements what everything's supposed to be, and so this lore book is really also establishing how everything should be going forward, and keeping it just rock solid for the future. Which, okay, that's fine. You need to establish that, speak in the same language. Sonlin, a master of languages, noticed that Valhalla's air itself seemed enchanted with a magic that fuses language. Oh? Really? So, okay. Let me just read through the whole thing, then I got something to say about that. Offworlders who speak find their language bleeds into the song of the Kyrie, and vice versa, allowing travelers from across the universe to understand each other. It seems to have been tied specifically to the dialect of the mainland Kyrie, however, as both those of Takala and the tongue of the Gelri require more dedicated translation magic. Okay. So we now have a universal fairy dust magic translator. Okay, I mean, if you want to establish that, fine. Okay, it's a simple way of saying this is how everybody understands each other, but come on. Come on. I mean, how about we, have the characters give a little bit of effort to where they need to translate, communicate with each other. I mean, look, my wife is a linguist. She does translations, interpretations. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. So why not have just establish that you have certain translators who study and learn, instead of just having this magical fairy dust spread and just we all of a sudden understand each other just because reasons. I don't know. I might be ranting a little bit about that, but I don't know. That just speaks a little bit like a convenient plot point is convenient. But I suppose at the same time, it would make sense then in my Tales of Valhalla show why everybody's speaking in the same language that everybody is hearing, because obviously Kurak probably wouldn't be speaking in English. Same with Raylan. Same with other like ninja heroes, elf, just all these. They wouldn't be all speaking in English. So, magical fairy dust. That's the universal translator from Star Trek. Okay, I'll accept it. Let's see here. Okay, Warpig's already bring that up. Oh, and Warpig, I don't know if you're looking at Twitch, but apparently I have a Justin saying the story's got a story. Yeah, exactly. But no, I think I have a spam bot comment on the Twitch page. If you can take care of that. If you can't, I understand. I'll take care of it sometime later. Anyway, the Gelri. Besides the Kyrie, there are dozens of species, both extinct and present, that have lived on Valhalla. One of these is the Gelri, a species of fish-like people who dwell in trenches deep beneath the surface of Valhalla's oceans. They have been disturbed by the activity of the Crimson Fleet, who have been tampering with a deadly force in Valhalla's waters. The gigantic Kraken. We already read a little bit about this. And it spawned the Krakenlings. Okay, the Krakenlings. Okay, so they're linked together, even though only the Kraken is serving somebody, and the Krakenlings actually are with somebody else. Deep sea sources of wellspring water have infused these beasts with the ability to twist space to their advantage and find a way through the mysterious void. And here, I just want to show you guys something real quick. Okay, see this Krakenling? Boop. I magnetized these, which we'll take more a look at when we paint them. Not going to be tonight, but if I do something this Sunday, I'll probably be painting, so look at that more in the future. Anyway, alright, so from that page, well, it establishes, oh, and wait a second, the Song of the Kyrie. So, okay, here is the cipher for the language, the Kyrian language, which is great. Now we have that. And then we also have the months, which is great. The silent month of Slimandar, icy month, dawning month, so like spring, rainy, flowering, joyous, serene, firestorm month. So it's probably July. or August. Twilight month, windy month, blizzard month, dark month. Okay, there you go. That's a very nice description there of the month. So it's cool. And look, okay, this is Valhalla. What's this? I think actually this has been described before already. If Jeremy was around, he would already tell me. Yeah, all right. Looks, hey, it's fine. I'm Justin. That yeah. I know there is a description, and that this planet is already named. Oh wait, okay. It says right here. I'm sorry, I missed it. Okay, let me get it. Andavari. Yeah, and Jeremy's talked about this before. So if anyone's responsible for this segment of this book, I almost guarantee you this is Jeremy's handiwork. A ring planet called Andvari is visible in Valhalla skies. Although the furthest the Kyrie have gone from Valhalla is Vidar's orbital Heimdall station, some dream of exploring Andvari one day. Would it be cool if we go there? Someday, yeah. Not an advisable dream, as Andvari is a type of planet called a gas giant. Oh, who cares? And would instantly incinerate and burn any visitors. You know what? It doesn't matter. Let's just go. So yeah. Is it 13 months? Let's see. Let me see. 30 days each month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, right. 13. Okay, 13 months. Interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, we don't exactly have a firestorm month, so they just added that in there. Everything else, is something we do, but yeah, we don't have a firestorm month. So that's 1 year. So even the orbital path of Valhalla would obviously be different than ours. 390 year in Valhalla. There you go. That's very interesting. All right, the rise of the Valkyrie. So I'm going back to page 12 and 13 now. So this is all over the place for these things. Okay, let's say, Triazimite Thorman could not hide his discovery for long. Soon the other Kyrie began to uncover well springs and the unprecedented power that drinking them brought. While some did not understand their visions or attempted to use them as a way to learn about distant worlds, it was only a matter of time before a military application developed, using the wellspring summoning chambers to build armies of soldiers with weapons and abilities unlike anything Valhalla had ever seen. It would be kind of great if we could have like terrain, or like we're getting like a broken down pirate ship. Can't we have like a buildable modular summoning chamber that we can build? Summoning chamber tiles, I can fit. That would be kind of nice. Let's see here. Conflict erupted as Kyrie fought to take control of the wellsprings and guarantee their continued ability to drink and sustain their powers. And Valhalla's serene landscapes were transformed into war-torn wastelands, which a lot of us already know. A Kyrie named Utgar, who was Arch-Kyrie of the regions of Bleakwood and Upper Bleakwood, used his newfound power as a Valkyrie to summon legions of blue-skinned orcs from a distant world called Grut, and a fire-breathing dragon. He used his armies to invade the neighboring territories of Lar, Ostrovik, Nostraland, ravaging through cities and slaughtering hundreds of his enemies. Yeah, and that's why, a lot of these, like especially Lar, is just a wasteland now. And for those of you who don't know, Lar territory, in season 2, when the Airborne Elite are going up against the orcs in the early episodes of season 2, that's in Lore. That's in that region. That's why they're amongst like a maze of ruins, because there's no like building civilizations anymore. It's all gone and just in ruins. Ravaging through cities and slaughtering hundreds of his enemies. Those who wanted to stop his relentless onslaught were forced to turn to the very same magic of the Wellsprings, and so Jandar, the stoic Arch-Kyrie of Nostraland, began to summon warriors from across the universe to fight back against Utgar's assaults. There you go, in defense. The young Kyrie Raylan hides as Utgar's forces storm her village of Stechavan. Now this is cool. this is something that, I mean, we've seen, I mean, we all have seen it because it's there on the Renegade page, but this is like something we have not seen before, an actual image of Raylan's village being attacked. And we know the story in writing now, but this is an image of it. All right. The early days of war were brutal. Not all Valkyrie who hoped to become powerful Valkyrie survived. As the first years passed, it became clear that several Valkyrie had risen above the others to wield influence, vast armies, and power against each other on Valhalla. Power grab. While the Archkiri from each region had once gathered in a central Anstrom annually to speak about Valhalla's affairs, it was a cold gathering indeed that brought them together to officially recognize the 6 known Valkyrie: Thorman of Tayloron, Ukkar, the Archkiri of Bleakwood and Upper Bleakwood, Jandar, the Archkiri of Nastraland. So Thorman was recognized as a Valkyrie then. Ular, the Archkiri of Ekstrom, Vidar, the Archkiri of Anund, and Einar, the Archkiri of Lindisfarne. It would be 10 years before they would ever meet again at the table. Now, okay, this, if there would have been a redacted part, it would have been right here. Well, actually, they don't have they don't have Aquila here either. There I go. My first cough of the night. I'm 43 minutes into this, and I haven't even started with these pages. Okay, this might be a little bit longer than I thought. Okay, it would be 10 years before they would ever meet again at the table. Well, with the exception of Thorman, probably. The war began in earnest, although alliances were made and quickly broken in those early days. An abiding friendship remained between the Valkyrie Jandar and the Valkyrie Ular, although they had risen to greater power than they had ever anticipated. Their friendship stayed strong as Ukkar besieged Valhalla with a deluge of newly summoned armies, including the land-poisoning alien species called the Marrow. Marrow are mentioned. Jandar's wellspring visions told him that Ukkar's thirst for conquest would not stop with Valhalla. He predicted that if Ukkar conquered Valhalla and captured all 15 wellspring amulets, Ukkar would use the power of wellsprings to invade other planets, starting with a world called Earth. And we know a little bit of that already. And look, okay, this is Thorman. There he is. Let's see here. I was not surprised to hear that other wellsprings had been found. Okay, and this we've already read. I'm not going to read through this to save my throat. But yeah, this is an excerpt that was already in. It's in this one or not? No. Let's see, do I have it? Do I have it? I do have it. Let's see. Yep. Yep, there it is. There it is. It's already, it's already written there here. But this is definitely a short. This is definitely a shortened down version of this. It's a little bit different, but it says the same thing. It says the same thing. So yeah, I should put in there. Okay, average height of a human, a Kiri, and a Valkyrie. So Valkyrie, yeah, like twice the size. Is that? Wait a second. Is that Jandar? That would be kind of cool if we're seeing a pose of Jandar there, and that's a regular Valkyrie. This is probably Concan. And then you have Sergeant Drake. That's my guess. My guess this is Concan. This is Jandar. It'd be kind of cool because this would be like probably one of the first images that we've seen of Jandar actually. The crest of Valhalla's royal houses soon became recognizable across Valhalla as the symbols of the Valkyrie and their armies. Warpig says yes. Okay, great. Look what he's holding, like some type of, is that a mace or just like a scepter? Or a spear. I imagine that's a scepter. And we really need banner crests. Like, we have the banner crests from the Fortress set a long time ago with Jandar's crest, but we really need, like, just a banner pack, okay? You don't even need to have a whole train pack. Just do a Valkyrie crest banner pack to where you have, you know, each, like say two banners, two crest banners each, and just do it that way, you know, and just sell it as a pack. We could sell that for, like, what? I don't know how much it costs, like $20-$30 or something. But yeah, I think that's something we need, possibly, in the future. Anyway, all right, next page. Oh, Earth. Okay, so I'm looking, describing, we're seeing the planets here. Yeah, exactly more big. Now, 32, 33. Okay, be $50. Well, maybe. Who knows? But that'd be kind of cool if we could get those officially someday. Okay, Earth. Let's look at this real quick. Earth is the third planet from its sun in its own solar system. It is one of the youngest planets known to the Valkyrie, with a written history of its primary inhabitants, a species called humans, only spanning around 5,000 years. Okay. That's interesting. No, I don't want to get into a debate or anything, but I find that note just kind of interesting because, again, I'm not want to get into debate or anything, but I myself am a Christian. I do believe there's evidence pointing towards a young Earth, not an older Earth. I know I'm probably in a minority here, but I just think it's kind of cool that this says, because that's approximately what the age of the Earth would be with a young Earth creationist perspective of 5,000 years. But at the same time, that's probably not what they're going for here. It is also a measured fact that the earliest form of writing that humans have had, like when language started, it's only about 5,000 years. I've heard that said before, so that's probably where it's coming from, because beyond that, there's no credible amount of evidence that like written language goes any further back than that. I think it starts at cuneiform. So that, just find that note very, very interesting. Humans have been summoned to Valhalla from a variety of periods and places in their history, ranging from their earliest days of civilization through eras of upheaval and war, all the way to the technologically advanced period of spies, stealth cloaks, and underwater cities in the year 2210 AD. Oh, the future! The future! They said written history and included, included cars, included title. Yeah, so written history, yeah. That's basically it. Written history. Like I said, language. It starts about 5,000 years ago. So that's what they're. I'm pretty sure that's their aim, because not everybody is a young Earth creationist. So, a theme common to Earth's humans is their tenacity, bravery, and intrepidness. Humans have become some of the most important soldiers in Valhalla's armies, being unafraid to make moves deep into enemy lines or risk everything for their friends and allies. A watery world, yes we are. Over 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water and has 7 continents. Most Earth's oceans remain unexplored throughout its history and hold secrets of their own, such as why an Earth pirate ship might vanish from a region of ocean called the Bermuda Triangle and fall into the abyssal depths of the void. Oh, that's kind of cool. Kind of note. 23rd century. Unfortunately, humanity has ever able to set aside their aptitude for war. By the year 2010, 2210. Much of the world above has been destroyed by environmental catastrophes. Oh, here we go. And the unchecked rise of human industry and the safest environments become sealed underwater cities where much of humanity's population dwelled while war raged on in the world above. However, humanity's reach also expanded beyond Earth, leading to the formation of a lunar colony on its moon, as well as several settlements on the neighboring red planet of Mars. Okay, now this is an interesting thing when it comes to just future timeline, which is fine. We can speculate and have fun with that. Wouldn't it be kind of cool? Okay, you start coming with like Earth-based units from that timeline, where you have red planet humans coming to Valhalla, or moon planet, like more like futuristic type human. That would be fun to explore. To have human units like that. If they're establishing, okay, this is what the Earth is like in 2210. It only makes sense if they're establishing that, then quite possibly we might get units from that possible future someday. I don't have to agree with how they set that up to not appreciate the fact that that's what they've established. Okay. Drake Alexander, what do I miss about Earth? Simple things mostly. Warm summer days in a place called Rhode Island. Walking along the pier with my dad, watching white ships with waving flags pass on the water. Smoke rising from the factory chimneys. Rows of Christmas trees out in the street ahead of the holidays. An old hound dog we used to have. But mostly I miss the people. The folks in my hometown. They were fearless, working to make lives better for each other. Free to be whatever they wanted. My fathers before me were fighters, and I guess I am as well. I gave everything I had to protect that freedom on Earth. I defend it on Valhalla 2. Yep, Drake Alexander. And then direct transmission agent car. Ooh, here we go. Chocolate. The Men of Iron and the Scatter. Yeah, why not? Let's see here. Agent Carr. What do I miss about Earth? I don't miss the dark. Up until Valhalla, I had never seen sunlight with my own eyes. Actually, you know what this reminds me? This reminds me of like Agent Carr is kind of based off of Morbius from The Matrix. So this gives me kind of like the Matrix type vibes for this. Actually, if they would go the Matrix way and all Earth being just like categorically just, not inhabitable, what about machines? If there's machines on the surface engaging in war, you could bring them to Valhalla too. There's so much fun you could have with this. You rename them, you make them look different. Obviously, you're not going to take directly from the Matrix IP, but just another variation and just a different name. And yeah, 40K. Hey, yeah, there you go. Now, if we're looking into like a more of like a 40K type of, then things would be a bit more darker. So that makes sense. Closest I ever got were the simulations. When the seas rose up, New York got sealed in a bubble 50 fathoms down. But even if I went up to the surface, all I'd have been able to see was poisonous smog before I got gunned down by an MOD. There you go. An MOD. See, there's reference. Nah, it was better down there. Not that it was much safer. The Twilight clans weren't going to stop until they ran the city, and we got off on a bad foot. But hey, even if you have to fight for your life every day, and the people that came before you screwed every redacted chance that you... Well, there's one redacted. It's not. I don't think he meant to say Valkyrie there, but there's redacted. Okay, we got our wish. Chance you had of fixing your planet. Home is home. You know what? Chocolate. I miss chocolate. Well, again, okay. That fits with Iron Lich. Now, chocolate. Wait a second. Okay, chocolate comes from the Kako plant. I'm sorry. How are you supposed to manufacture chocolate if the entire planet is wiped? If the entire planet is wiped off, okay, I'll give them that. Then that means all plant life, all animal life is wiped out too. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we save some. Okay, even if you save some, it would be in such limited. It would be so limited. And I'm sorry, now we're getting to really nitty-gritty technical stuff here. It's like, okay, this is just a lore story, but you wouldn't have like so much opportunity to process this stuff, especially if you're still kind of at war, if you're still like on guard, if you're still like living on the lam. You will not have time to produce and manufacture chocolate. I'm sorry, that wouldn't, especially a chocolate bar. Artificial chocolate. There you go. It's just like white goo, you know, that's just been like remolded, you know. It's like, next thing you're gonna tell me is that they just have like, oh, what's in Star Trek? Yeah, artificial chocolate, but like oh, what are those things in Star Trek that they end up having to where you can just make anything, you know, Earl Grey tea hot, you know, it just, oh, what's the name of those things? You know what I'm talking about, like those certain machines that you can just make anything from it. I'm forgetting the name of it. Anyway, but then at the same time, even if it is artificial chocolate, it's not the same thing. I'm just saying, it's not the same thing. Okay, a gray mystery. The earth is full of surprises, even to those who are summoned from there. The grave grims that Revna has called into her armies were spirits regarded in earth folklore for centuries. But where did they really come from? The questions. Replicator. There you go, Warpig. Yeah, replicator. Even if they have replicator technology, which again, that is like getting more towards now Star Trek lore, which is a bit more optimistic, at least old Star Trek was. Newer Star Trek, I think, is a little bit more dark, but yeah, it's not the same thing, you know. It's still not manufactured chocolate. It's just, you know, it's a fake. It's a fakery. It's fake. Anyway, so that's looking at that. It, like, you just have fun with it, you know. Slick banana laffy taffy. A brave blue world, not world, blue world. Okay. And actually, one thing I don't know that most people know, but scientifically, there's actually water, like underneath the, like there's more water underneath the surface of the Earth. Like I think it's like 2 to 3 times more water underneath the surface of the Earth than there is in our oceans right now. That's interesting, you know. Now it's not like it's like reservoirs of oceans and water. It's mixed in with like a soil rock substance, but it's still there. You still have it's still water. You still have like depths of water within our planet, which probably helps with the magnetism and why this Earth keeps on spinning. But yeah. Interesting. Okay, scenarios. Okay, we already. Okay, and here. Okay, here's scenarios. All right. So, yeah, from the deep master game. So this is one we've done. So this will be. So we already know. Yeah, we're pig under the crust. Exactly. Yep. Under the crust. Yep. And based on research, you know, science research, not only discovered that there was that there is still, you know, water reservoirs that like is way more than the oceans we have up here on the surface currently. There's also evidences that at one point back in time, there was a lot more water underneath the surface of the Earth, and it burst forth, and that's why we have the oceans we have today. So it's just, you know, it's fascinating no matter how, you know, where you stand on that. Anyway, I was not expecting hydrogen bonding to come up. Yeah, well, you know, hydrogen bonding, yes. Okay, so this would be all right. Here we go. Okay, so this would be, see, we're already knowing what the next scenarios coming up are going to be in advance. So Let's take a look. So this would be this month's From the Deep. This December, so just a couple weeks, we have The Last Comfrey Plant. This would be the next one, and then in January would be Dawn of a New Alliance. This is January's. And then we have Midnight Raid would be February's. And then March would be Birth of a Covenant. And then April would be Dead or Alive. And then May would be Tides of War. And then June would be The Admiral's Blockade. And then this would be, I think this is a separate scenario with Thorman, Eldritch Endgame at the Wellspring of Obsession, confronting Thorman, which is his own boss battle type thing. So I think that's not involved in a month. That's part of the Thorman and the Kraken box. So what month was I at? I think this was June. And then July would be A New Storm Rises. So right away, the Shattered Table. Interesting. The map would be Shattered Table. So we know now what the titles of the scenarios are up until July next year. So there you go. So we can think about that now for a while. Anyway, all right. I might be starting to lose my voice, but we'll continue. Let's see. I don't think we have too much left here. Let's see. Yeah, just okay. 3 more pages. All right. It'll only take us like what, another hour. We'll see. Character biographies. All right. So we have our biographies of the characters, all of them, and I think it's probably the same stuff that we've read before on them. Let's see here. Aquila's wellspring of powers allowed her to summon fantastic magical beings from across. So, okay, Iwashia is number 1 out of everything. Okay. Ferocious Iwashia is one such warrior. The Giant Warrior Boys, great pleasure warriors. To recently, no one was aware Aquila had such accomplishments. So we've already read these. So it's just a rehash of what Renegade's already released. Or big. What's big? I don't know. What did they say? I mean, let me know what that is. But anyway, so this we don't really need to read too much. But it's kind of cool that you get representations of everything so far with these guys and just the lore that's part of them. But yeah, this is stuff we read before, so I don't need to go through it too much. It is what it is. So you get to see everything that you have or everything that you don't have. The titles, yeah, titles for yep, exactly. It gives a bit away. Okay, and then we're going back now, going backwards, page 14 and 15. So there he is. Yep, there is the image of Jandar. Let's look at him in the eyes. Okay. Now, this one he's pretty armored. But yeah, this is kind of like a scepter spear type thing. I know some of you might not be big into boss battles, but I want... And this just me personally. You're welcome to disagree with me, but I want Valkyrie units. I mean, they're starting with Thorman, which I think is a good place to start. But I want more. More, I tell you more. All right, let's read this. Stoic. They call him a stoic. Don't be so stoic, stoic. Stoic Archkyrie of Nostraland. Jandar's family has reigned as the Archkyries of Nostraland for generations. While Nostraland's icy northern slopes are fierce and inhospitable lands at first glance, Jandar's forebears saw opportunity in the frozen reaches. Nostraland has given rise to several of Valhalla's greatest cities, including the busy city of Valgrand. Now, are we going to get some city terrain sometime down the line? That would be kind of cool. Jandar's fortresses, and even like fortress, terrain. Just we can do a lot with these terrains. We don't have to keep it simple. We can do a lot. Jandar's fortresses in Nostraland are many, including Fortress Jandar, as well as towering bastions of Idona Castle. Jandar's Jandar's no Primarchs. Really? I guess that is turning into 40k, isn't it? Jandar's childhood taught him well the power of Valhalla's magical waters, as he discovered a fountain deep in Soulraiser Canyon in his youth, when there was still peace between Astraland and Bleakwood. Although he was unsure whether to indulge in the powers of the wellspring near Kalios in Astraland when it was discovered, after several of his cities were razed during a surprise invasion by the Valkyrie Utgar, he decided that becoming a Valkyrie would be the only way to repel Utgar's newfound hordes. Jandar prefers to defend rather than strike, and his region of Nastraland is renowned for the work of defensive smiths and forge masters such as the shieldsmith Kintar, who supplies the shields for Jandar's legion of Kiri sentinels, and Girda, mother of Raylan, who devised defensive auras to enchant shields, spears, and artifacts. There you go. It would be kind of cool if we see like Kintar or Girda as actual units as well. Any names mentioned, basically, that we don't have units for already. We want units. Okay. The Alliance, sensing that Utgar's use of the Wellsprings would lead to the destruction of Valhalla and many worlds beyond, Jandar entreated Thormund, who had enlisted as a scout in Jandar's army and was still a friend of his at the time, to embark on a journey to visit each of the other known Valkyrie on the mainland, Alar, Vidar, and Einar, and ask them to join him in an alliance against Utgar. Although Thormund's journey was perilous and he lost friends along the way, his journey was ultimately successful, and thus four Valkyrie were united against Utgar. Wings of Steel. Okay, well, let's look at this. Jandar's smiths have accomplished feats of metalwork that defy explanation, including crafting enchanted wing armor that allows Jandar and his Kiri to fly while keeping their wings fully enclosed within protective plates, and hence comes from Raylan's metal armor. Warpig, I'd be fine with him. You can't play with him competitive. Yeah, well, and I think for Thormund, there is like a version to play competitive, and then there's a boss battle version card for Thormund, where he gets, in boss mode. That would not be a competitive card. But I think the card that, like the regular card for Thormund, is just the one you could play competitively with. But again, there's ways to make sure he stays out of the competitive sphere. I mean, there's always banning or whatever. A mighty warrior. Jandar can hold his own in combat. All this writing just seems to point towards eventually we're gonna get more Valkyrie units. Jandar can hold his own in combat. He has the previous wielder of Sergeant Drake's Cantana of Thorian, and used it to single-handedly hold off Utgar's hordes at Nestraland's revered Wellenshire tombs in the early days of the war. There's just too many nods and notes for these not to be important. They would soon be joined by a fifth, the young Valkyrie Aquila rose to power in the southern jungles in Takala, away from the west of the world. Intent on repelling the spreading invasion of the alien Maro that Utgar had introduced to Takala's swamps and jungles, Aquila joined forces with the Alliance to stand against Utgar's onslaught. They really do a good job in writing and just catching everybody up with the narrative, which is it's fine. It's really good. I mean, if every page is like this that has new information, that's great. The Alliance remained intact for a better part of a decade, although it fractured over time, until a decisive end came when a peace summit was held at the previous meeting place of the Council of Archkiri, a plateau known as the Table, in central Onstrom, due to outside interference from a vengeful group of pirates, and here we go, we already know this, The peace summit collapsed, and the alliance along with it, as Valhalla entered a new age of annihilation, which we still don't know what that means. Even after this, Jandar chose to focus on protecting his people, withdrawing his soldiers from across Valhalla to take up defensive posts at Nastraland's borders and wait for the storm to pass, unbeknownst to him, but beknownst to us. The storm was just beginning. And actually, with Jandar's personality, it seems actually, because I don't think Jandar is an aggressive Valkyrie. I think aggressiveness is not what Jandar does. So holding up a defensive position, that decision makes sense. Raylan, the Kiri warrior. Jandar hastened from the city of Sechevan when he heard that it was under attack by an army of strange blue-skinned beings led by warriors of the Kyrian Mountains. Okay, we're going back in time a little bit. He found the city in ruins, but in the rebel discovered the Crimson Wing young Kiri named Raylan. So Raylan's wings have always been red. She was the daughter of Girda, the Forge Master, and a close friend of Jandar's family. Her father, Jalgard, had been put to death by Utgar's right-hand commander, Taylord. Even though she was young, Raylan swore to bring Utgar and his armies to justice. Jandar took Raylan under his wing, quite literally. I'm sorry. Just... and over the following year, taught her how to fight, before finally entrusting her with the spear of Gerda to use in battle. Raylan became one of his strongest warriors, although her mission to bring Utgar to justice would ultimately lead her away from his ranks on a path of her own making. He felt like he prefers to pull the string. I don't know what that means. We're picking, sorry. Sergeant Drake Alexander, the day that Jandar chose to become a Valkyrie and drink the waters, he was bombarded by visions of warriors fighting on distant worlds. He summoned as many as he could, plucking them from the verge of death on their own worlds and transporting them to Valhalla, and gave each... You see how I'm doing a narrative example. And gave each the same explanation, that his home was about to be destroyed and he needed their aid to save it. Okay. All those Jandar summoned. What if someone said no, though? It's like, no thank you, I have like terrible enough things happen in my own world, I just want to go back, thank you. What did he do? Did he just go like, boom, just bump him away? Of all those Jandar summoned in his first tireless session in the summoning chamber of Kalios, few have supported him as staunchly as Sergeant Drake, a young man plucked from the trenches of France during the Earth's Second World War. Drake stands fiercely against any who would employ cruelty to mold the world in their image, and he fights for two reasons: to prevent Earth from someday falling under Utgar's rule. Well, that shouldn't be a problem anymore if Utgar's dead. Right? And to win the war on Valhalla so that Jandar can return him to a very different battle where the lives of his brothers-in-arms are still on the line. I was originally killing Vayne before I moved him to Revan. Okay. Anyway. Anywho. So again, I guess we need we need the redacted Valkyrie here, because it's like, okay, no mention of Valkyrie here. We just get we just get Aquila and that's it. So okay, now this is the last one we get, the last page of information we get, and this is just a lot of timeline stuff, but the timeline stuff is very interesting. So okay, and it's cool that we get a timeline, because now we can see the span of years here. BMR before Mygle's Rise, Mygle's Rise after Mygle's Rise. Okay. So this is interesting. On the mainland, Kiri began to map and name Valhalla's regions, establish borders. The wellsprings are created and later abandoned, along with the structures from the Ilrar and Merkheim. Okay, so there's the first talk. You think Jandar's the big liar? I don't think he is. But then that's just me talking, like, right off the bat. But at the very least, though, there are people who think Jandar is a big liar. So I will give you that. I don't think he ever plans on putting them back. Well, yeah. Okay, when it comes to that, who's to say? Well, certainly not now. I mean, we need to figure out what happens in the Wellsprings, but I find this interesting, that the creation of Wellsprings happened before Thormund discovered them. So Thormund was not the first to discover them. Event of Harvest. Does this timely mean time works in Valhalla? I think it's always worked, really. I think the things that like the lore build up that Avalon Hill was cooking up was, I don't think it was given to Renegade. Anything that Chris Nadow was thinking up or imagining. And so whatever, and I really liked Chris's thoughts on like the Wellsprings actually having like their own intent, like their own reasons for being there, and which could lead to other things, which I thought was a nice hint. But this looks like something different. The Wellsprings are created, so they were created and later abandoned, along with the structures. Apparently in Murkheim, though, so underground. The Kiri of the Moon Tribe build... Oh my goodness, my voice is starting to give out, guys. Build rune pools into Kala and make it easier to locate their settlements from the sky. Okay, the Moon Tribe is wiped out by flooding, and only the Kiri Antigua survive. Okay, so this is very interesting stuff that we know nothing about, I think. Time works of Valhalla, just not Wellsprings. Yeah. And time works different on Valhalla than it does here on Earth. Obviously, I mean, different gravitational pull and different rotation and everything like that being said, but also with magical fairy dust, I think it works differently as well, especially when the Wellsprings started being discovered again. On the mainland, Kiri began to map and name Valhalla's regions, and so we're talking about what? Okay, so this was 10,000 years ago. 7,000 years ago. Okay, so you're talking about thousands of years later. Okay, Kari Hero Thorian of the Moon Tribe makes a perilous flight to Tekala to the mainland, taking his ancient katana with him. Okay, so this is just Archkiri Mygal conquers. Okay, so Mygal was definitely, a big bad back then. Archkiri Navis, the Upper Bleakwood, builds forts to defend against trolls crossing into her territory. Okay, so very interesting things. Okay, so this is before Mygal. Mygal's rise. Wait a second. Why is this 273 BMR? This is 530 BMR. Okay, the numbers don't work here. It is the battle of all time. No, I'm not trying to argue with you. As a matter of fact, I'm arguing with myself now, because why do you have 2730 BMR here but 530 BMR here? I'm confused. Okay. So 2730, so this should be here. Maybe it's something I need to fix. It might be fixed in the future. And so then we have AMR. So this is Mygal's rise. Do we have any MR? I don't see any MR. Okay, so why do they even have Mygal's rise here? I guess they're making Mygal like something big. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm reading it twice. I'm sorry, Inventive Harvest. My brain is like really, it's going. I'm not arguing against that. It's just obviously time operates differently in this. So what I'm trying to think of how Renegade is portraying this. But after Michael's rise, Archcarry Michael II, ruler of Upper Bleakwood and Lord, dies and is buried in a Byron spear. Okay. Interesting. How does he die? I don't think it's through natural causes, because I think Kiri can live for quite a while. Thorman rediscovers Wellsprings. Okay. So this is like 100 plus years after Michael passes. Yeah, so it's okay. Inventive harvest. So Thorman rediscover. Okay, so that is our timeline there. So 207 AMR. That's when Thorman rediscovers the Wellsprings at the Tarn of Volsunga. Young Jandar stumbles upon a magical. What is that? Magical ount? What that means? I don't know what that word is. Okay, that's weird. Where the Wellsprings become source of contention. Okay, there's a lot of stuff to read here, and some of it's highly confusing. But okay, Thorman begins his journal some 200 years, no, some 70 years after he found a Wellspring. At least they're trying to establish a timeline. I think this is like something that hopefully is a work in progress. Okay, then you got the Sergeant Drake Rillian, Major Kuten Shiori, Takala, so you have that. So there's just a number of years here. Okay, interesting. 279. Revna rises Valkyrie, killing Valkyrie. We have Valkyrie mentioned here. Valkyrie is mentioned here. It's not redacted. He who must not be named is actually named. And taken his Wellspring. Okay, cool. Well, I'm happy with that. Raylan faces Kimoshi once again on the battlefield and seems to fall under her thrall, although this is a ruse. Okay. Crimson Widow is summoned by okay, yep. Thorman, disappointed that the alliance is seemingly no closer to ending the war, abandons Jandar's side, pursues his own goals. Okay, this is just a number of years after the rise of Valkyrie throws the alliance in jeopardy. First forays are made into Murkheim, but useful answers evade the Valkyrie. Okay, so this is probably like Valkyrie stuff happening. So this is after the discontinuation. So Thorman is disappointed after the game's been discontinued. And then this is a number of years after. A small group of pirates deployed deep into Kala, attempt to poison somebody's poisoned the waterhole. They're successful. Okay, although she's alerted before she drinks of it. So Aquila then is not affected. I'm just reading through this really quick because we're already an hour and a half into the stream. The Council of Archcarry has held an attempted bargain for peace. The pirates' trouble throws summit to chaos, officially dissolves the alliance. Pirates flee to Vile Cove. Okay, so this is all the same year, and now we're getting into months. Let's see here, 280, 280, 280, 280, all 280, all the same year. So this year, and we have the months, all of them. Okay, and we just go back to the months to know what month of the year it is on. I'm not going to go back right now, but okay. And we already know a lot of this, but let's go to the end. Okay. Okay, so here's that. Okay, so now this last little bit is stuff that we don't know. Let me get this. Gallery rise on the shores of Noon, ally with King Kiran against the pirates who they say have raised a terrible weapon from the deep. Okay, so this is what we know so far. Now we're going to get into spoiler territory, people. Okay, if you listen to this like hour and a half of stuff, now we're going to get into some spoilerific stuff if you have not heard it before. And I'll probably segment this out and have it be its own video. We've read all what we've read to get to this. Silent and his allies collect comfrey plants, a necessary ingredient for the cure. Okay, so we are getting to where we're getting to the cure. To the wellspring poison from the territory of the nearly extinct Durgath of Linden's farm. Okay, next one. Which is some 10 days later, Jandar holds his borders as the pirates begin to mobilize, and Raylan comes home to Nastraland. Finally! Raylan goes back home, is no longer in Ukar's territory, is back home. Good. I want to see that. Yes. Okay. Raylan doesn't need to be there. No longer this buddy cop thing of spending time with Lovey Attack. Good. She's back home. Okay. See, our pirates launch an attack into Revna's shoreside tunnels. The Ironlish Viscerat plumbs. It capture pirates' memory. Ooh. Wow. To determine their... to distract while path is cleared to the wellspring of obsession. Okay. To determine their ends the sentence code. I think they've like omitted something from here, but so pirates start attacking. Revna decides to ally with Queen Kyrian. Okay, another alliance. That's interesting. I don't know why Queen Kyrian would trust too much, but to defend Anun from the pirate invasion and shares her findings, Queen Kyrian spreads the message to the rest of Valhalla. Okay. So Revna is just basically saying, I don't know, this might be Revna's inn. It's just a convenient way of saying, but that's a trap. It's a trap. And, okay. Like I said, I have a feeling a lot of this might be changed in the future, because you see page X, page X, page X. So this is just where they're at so far. Sonlan fights his way back into Ekstrom to deliver his portion of the cure to Ular, who welcomes him again. Great. Cures are delivered to Aquila and Einar. Good. Okay, so this happens. So cures happen. And then a day after, Sonlan and company make their way to the Wellspring of Obsession, despite heavy pirate interference. So the pirates are just going full force now. It's time. Hoist the banners high, you know. A massive battle between pirates and all of Valhalla rages at the Wellspring of Obsession. Meanwhile, Thormund makes his move. Okay, so okay. Pirates. All pirates against everybody. Okay. I don't know if we have enough pirates for that, but let's just say we do. Thormund attempts to open a stable planner gate to send all Valhalla's offworlders home. Interesting. So he tries to open a gate within the void to send everybody back, because that's his goal. That's what he thinks will end the war. Interesting. That's an interesting motivation, you know. That's interesting. That's something I have to process. He is defeated, but falls through the portal as a wellspring storm is unleashed. So he's not dead. He falls through a portal as the wellspring storm is unleashed in the sky over the wellspring of obsession in Ekstrom. We have a storm, and not just any storm, people. A wellspring storm. I don't even know how that's supposed to go. So is this going to open like a rift? Okay, let's see. We still have more. A second attempt at the Council of the Archcurie to negotiate peace is sent into chaos. Okay, here we go. As 4 separate partnerships are announced between the Valkyrie and the Wellspring Storm, and the Wellspring Storm becomes an undeniable danger to Valhalla. So, in an attempt to bring everybody together, they just separate in their different factions. Now, some people are allied with nobody. I wonder who's going to ally with Revna. Nobody should ally with Revna. I'm just saying. Because, I mean, she's just going to stab you in the back and then revive you, and you just then are shouting her praises. Okay. So 30 days, that's a few days later. Now one to end all. Last one. The Wellspring Storm continues to rage, pulling in unusual visitors from across the universe, including some real American heroes. Okay, so we know this. That's G.I. Joe. Those touched by the storm are ripped away into other worlds. Chaos reigns in Valhalla. Whoa, okay. There is annihilation, people. At the very end. We get it. Now, okay. To do battle against the Wellsprings, and then now we don't know the specifics on how like this Wellspring Storm happens, because this is something new. And depending on where this goes, Yo Joe, exactly, you got it right in front of Harvest. Where this goes, how do you close up a rift like that? This is interesting, because this isn't exactly a multiverse type thing yet. This is just a huge problem that now people are being. It's like there's no control. You're talking about like losing control over the Wellsprings, and the Wellsprings just basically just grabbing anybody and anything from nowhere. As like with G.I. Joe, they're not allied with any Valkyrie because no Valkyrie sent them. They're just being thrown in. That will create an interesting dynamic about like how armies are assembled, and like it becomes more than just the Valkyrie generals and who's allied under them now. So I can see how this will open up different things, like not just between worlds, but time itself. So yeah, this is interesting. And how do you close that up? Because now, okay, you know, the big thing throughout this whole like timeline of an Age of Annihilation was just trying to find a cure for the Wellsprings, and now you got to think, would it have been better just to let those Valkyrie generals go mad now that you've just created like this whole nuclear explosion of like Wellspring water and time and space just ripping open? Who created the Wellsprings and why, says Event of Harvest? Well, apparently we get that at the beginning. The Wellsprings are created and later abandoned along with the structures of the Irilar in Murkheim. So down in Murkheim, Murkheim is beneath the depths of Valhalla, that they were created like 10,000 years ago, basically. So now it doesn't say who created them, but who and why, I guess we'll find out. So this just, okay, I will say it's like positive that this does open the lore. I really don't have really much negative to say about it. I think it's a good way to close the story arc, and now we do have the what I've been asking for the last few years. Where's the annihilation part? There you go, at the very end. Annihilation. And just everything gets ripped apart. And if you want a lot of craziness and fun, you know, it like sometimes in your story, if you yes, close your loose ends, but at the same time rip open big ones. So now we can have a lot of storylines and a lot of resolutions to whatever needs to happen. And it might not ever happen. This might something you just have to live with and then fight with it, whatever. this like opens the canvas up, because it also talks about like those touched by the storm are ripped away into other worlds. So not just Valhalla. What about if some people were on Valhalla got ripped away into other worlds? Like those who belong on Earth all of a sudden land in Mar. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, now this is not what this wasn't Ukar's intent, but in a sense, because Ukar wanted to go to Earth, but in a sense, this is almost like that happening times a zillion, because now it's like erupting into everywhere. I think in a sense this is worst case scenario, be perfectly honest, which is great, you know, for us just reading it, experience it, because now you have an open canvas to really figure out, okay, what we're going to do next. Wow. So now I know what everybody has been thinking about who's read this so far, and really now that I've read it, and again it's very limited, so I still reserve a lot of judgment until we actually get the full thing, like the full gist. And yeah, I'd like to see backstory and Wellsprings too. Whatever Renegade, you know, cooks up for it would be interesting. But yeah, we're taking that step. I don't see the Wellsprings actually being ignored here. They're still in use. It's not like they're not used anymore. So yeah, until we see anything further, I have really no huge complaints right now with it. It just seems like a chaotic conclusion. And then now Secrets of the Citadel, this is probably my guess, and yeah, Secrets of the Citadel, my guess is like what Inventive Harvest just said in the chat. Secrets of the Citadel is probably going to be a story about those who are able to start exploring Murkheim and trying to figure out where the Wellsprings came from. Because until you know who created the Wellsprings and why, how are you going to stop that storm that is happening currently? It's ripping time and space apart. If you don't know how it was created, how are you gonna seal it up? So that, I think, coming up, and you guys can know me for this because I have no idea what Renegade's gonna do when it comes to Secrets of the Citadel. But I think Secrets of the Citadel will be an exploration of Murkheim to figure out and to explore and figure out, okay, how were these created? Who created them? Are they still around? If they're not, can we find enough information to figure out how to control these Wellsprings to seal this rift? That's probably going to be the next arc in this story. So that's my prediction. We'll see if it comes true. It could be something completely different, but that's my guess. So yeah, that's taking a look at this, especially this new bit of lore that, again, spoiler, guys, this is huge spoilers, so I'll probably have this in its own little video. Listen and learn to your discretion, because this is spoiler territory, and really it does show clues on what might happen in Secrets of the Citadel. So yeah, that's looking at that, and that's looking at everything here, guys. This was it. These were the pages. Wait a second. What page was this on here? Valhalla's timeline. This is page 50 and 51. Who knew that basically at the beginning of the book would be the biggest part of it? Yeah, Valhalla timeline. Crazy. All right. Well, I do have to wrap up, guys, and again, my throat's getting kind of scratchy. So, and I just hit my microphone. But yeah, this Sunday, at the very least, if I do anything, it's probably gonna be painting stream, which is fine. I got like a lot of things to paint, so I can paint, and if I can talk, I'll talk. But if I still feel like this on Sunday, I might just, again, like I said, take a break. But definitely next Wednesday, I will not be around. I'm gonna be enjoying the holidays with me familia, with my family, and possibly the Sunday after as well. But I'll let you all know. But keep an eye out. I'll still try and upload videos because I'm still trying to catch up from Renegade's download of just stuff that I'm trying to post every day. But there's also, and I appreciate like everybody who's liked the post of me, like from I took 4 pictures of like just the animation setup that I did this past weekend, and I just used that as an introduction to the stream last Sunday. That got 50 likes. That just blew my mind that so many people were looking at that and was interested in that. So I guess I'll just post things like that more in the future, because I mean I do try to plan to animate as much as I can, at least once a month. And maybe I'll show like bits and pieces of what I animated. It's going to be in its raw raw form, but I'll share that as well. And I do share stuff via Patreon. Again, link in the description below for that if you want to join Patreon, even for free. I'll show stuff for free as well. I mean, there's some paywall stuff, but it's no problem. Oh, and also say too, if anybody's interested in pre-ordering the lore book, there are links below if you want to. I'm sorry. Let me try to think of if you would like to pre-order said lore book while my voice is tearing me apart. There are links below, affiliate links below to pre-order that, and then I get a little cut of that if you are interested in exploring and purchasing said lore book. Please do so, and it can support the channel at the same time. So what else do I want to say? Oh yeah, so yeah. Those are different ways of supporting the channel, but I do think I will post more things on the post side of the Tales of Valhalla YouTube channel as well, because you guys seem to enjoy that, and I don't mind sharing some of the production stuff that I'm doing, that if I'm able to. So I will definitely do more of that in the future as well. So I do appreciate the likes and supports and the views as always, and again, thank you everybody for coming in tonight. While I'm in Heroscape, I think probably was just lurking around, but Shane, appreciate you first in the chat. And let's see here, Justin Warpig, Dan Antonio. Who else was here? I think I said Justin. A lot of Warpig and Inventive Harvest as well. So with that, I thank you all for watching. If I don't see you Sunday, have a happy Thanksgiving, and at least a great, hopefully restful week next week. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it, and we'll see all of you next time. Bye now. Bye now.